So greetings everyone. So actually one of my main motivations for recording this match is Europeans like myself will mostly be sleeping at this time. So even though I couldn't provide commentary for the first few games, I thought there are many people who'd like to watch these games live, and having them play in front of you is a lot easier. Yeah, so thanks KZ1337 for the interest in the chat. Yeah, lots of materials out there. Let me know who you are on Lichess. Because one very fun way to improve is to play in the Crazy House League. That's just coming to an end, Season 6, but Season 7 will no doubt start up again. And that would be a great way. So for the top player in the league is Jasugi99 himself on 2800, and it goes down to the lowest rated player is actually the guy who founded the league. He's a 1300, but he's actually a pretty strong player, but he's still 1300. Okay, so yeah, let me know who you are on Lichess. And the only one proviso about the league is we run under the rules of Lichess 4545, which means we have to follow their very strict rules. Ooh. That's hanging or not. And that means that people who've had like one time, oh my goodness, this attack from Jasugi. He's got to go there. I see, so he said the bishop would be dead if I just surrounded it by pawns, so that's why he exchanges it. Yeah, but no, really, the lowest rated players in the league are, as I said, they go down to 1300. So the board 7 will be between 1300 and 1500. Major lemon, yeah. But like I said, the one proviso is some people have had like an indiscretion once in there when they were younger. Nice, because there's a pin. And they did something which they regret later, and unfortunately the league is very uncompromising about this. It means if you ever did do something wrong once upon a time, they ban you for life. So and it's because they've had a lot of bad experience with people cheating on the 45-45 league, which is slow chess, and people sometimes just put the engine on the computer or something. And even people who really should know better. And it just kills the online game of chess when people, waste hours of their time playing against players who haven't really been playing themselves, who've just been, beating everyone up, but they're not really playing themselves. So they are sort of super strict about that. And sometimes they're people who aren't cheats at all, but they just like they mess about once or twice, and the league is very strict about that. But anyway, that's not a very nice subject. Shronet is Michael Towell of Crazy House. Yes, I agree with that. So he's blocking him off, and now he just needs... Oh, my goodness, did he not have a check? Was there no... Yeah, the knight was covering this. He just needed any check, but he didn't have a check. I'm sure he did have a check, but... So that the pawn is pinned. He just wants like a pawn or something. Why not just bishop takes pawn and then pawn here? No, because the king can go here. Ooh. Okay, yeah, everything's pinned, so you can't take anything very easily. Although you could have... Huh? Oh, that's so nice. You can't take off façon. He didn't notice that earlier. Oh, that's really beautiful. Cheating stupid. I'm mod in Esmond's stream, and he plays cheaters every day. Exactly. So then you'll understand the problem people face playing that kind of slower time control. And I've played Esmond once, but he just completely crushed me in a King's Indian. Okay, so I know that Kez37 was asking me earlier to try and help provide some commentary. Well, that's what I was about to say. he's got 2 knights and 2 bishops. Okay, this, the point of this is to create a weakness on h6. It's not obvious because he can't swing the knight back to f5 because that's double protected. But there's also to take g7, knight h6 ideas. It's anyway. While I was busy looking at that, something else happened on the other side of the board, and I wasn't very clear. Okay, so in Crazy House, you often give away this knight on f6 just because you want to create a nice home for your king. Notice because f6 has a pawn on it, it means that losing the g7 pawn takes h6 isn't quite as serious. Also, actually, you get a pawn in hand, so you can often Black can often attack on h3. Yeah, so Black's actually seems to have a nice attack here. Actually, he's sacked a piece. He's got quite a nice attack. So really, the story of a lot of these games is how Jasugi99 comes back. It's a very nice move, hitting the rook, but hitting the pawn. Notice bishop, rook, and knight are of similar value in Crazy House. And pawns are more valuable than in normal chess because, of course, you can drop pawns on the 7th rank. Okay, but what about this position? I can't. Black's got all these. See, notice White's got all these minor pieces. They do a great job of defending. There's just no way of breaking through. Even though his king is under. Yeah, this is nasty. It's nasty because like there's rook there check and rook takes rook, and then you're threatening almost rook there checkmate when the queen was here. So this is kind of serious. Is he going for the flag already? It looks like he's just playing checks for the flag already, which is very early for that. He's going to pay. So what was the mate in the final position? Rook at g7 and pawn at g5 or something like this. So you've got 2 choices with your bishops. You either put them outside the pawn chain or you put them inside the pawn chain. Objectively speaking, outside is better, but actually inside is sometimes better to defend the diagonal, defend against pins along this diagonal. Okay, but here we have a very creative move. This knight takes h7, which is a theoretical move. It's perfectly reasonable. And White's going to get a big attack. Okay, seems okay for now. But bishop takes pawn could come at some stage, and a lot of attack on these light squares in the position. Yeah, so just watch out for, look how White will attack the light squares in this position. See the bishop here comes. On the face of it, you might think you're just losing a piece, but White's just gonna pummel these light squares. So I mean, yeah, really nice play in a lot of these games from catask, but Jasugi99 really comes back at him. I mean, rook takes h6 is a worry. Knight g6, he just takes it. So okay, he's going for a knight at here. Also, okay, he does that. Pawn takes rook is strong. What's his plan here? He's going to get a queen. Oh no, that king is not going to survive. Yeah, queen takes his checkmate. So Jasugi99, wow, what a comeback again. Ominous, let's go. What a fun matchup. Yes. This is very confusing how he went bishop e7 and then bishop here, because it's quite funny in this opening. Quite often bishop comes out, but then the white bishop sometimes black bishop sometimes gets worried and comes back to defend this pin, the pin for the knight and the queen. But anyway, this is just way past that point. It's just I'm quite bemused. Okay, White, how is white going to survive this? So bishop takes pawn is a threat, and he only has a pawn in hand, so he uses his knight to defend the threat. Okay, queen takes bishop. What? Okay, this went way too fast for me. Okay, so why did he do that? I don't understand. Oh, I see. So when the king comes down, queen here, queen takes knight is mate. Oh, something like that. And then if knight takes knight, another knight comes in. Yeah, so that was a very nice mate from catask. Looks super scary for white. Yeah, not even Jasugi99 could survive that one. That's phantom troop. Ouch. Okay, we've got a repeat of this line. So notice white's plan is just going to be to hit these light squares, so watch out for that. Bishop here. He's threatening. Knight here seems reasonable. Just defend. Okay, he backs off. That's good. So knight might be landing here at some point. Okay. Yeah, he does this to cover the back rank. Maybe. Oh, we're just going to give away the queen? That's tempting. And white doesn't want the queen. That's a time burner because what is the idea? He has a knight and a queen. Okay, this is trouble. Knight here, king here. If he takes the rook, the problem is knight here, queen. There is some trouble here. Okay, but what's just happened here? Oh my goodness. He had queen and swinging across with mate. If he did took the rooks, he had swung out. And there was still a mate somewhere. He had a queen in hand. That's just insane. So something like queen here, check. The king has to run up. Bishop here, check. It's checkmate. So yeah. So catask tilting slightly and going for a rover. So I'm just laughing at the chat with Fumatalk saying about Schwanet being the Mikhail Tal of Crazy House, which of course everyone knows is the case, and Danny Green is correcting, saying it's Mikhail, not Michael, and of course Fumatalk is Russian, so he knows how to, he knows. So it's just sort of a slight irony of. So the knight was actually covering e6. So KZ3027 says, I'd really enjoy some 30-minute Crazy House games. Would be so interesting. Yes, wonderful to see the same players for the best of bits with the same longer time controls. Yeah, so do check out on the YouTube the ZH League matches because they range from 5+5 to 11+11. The best players in the world just don't want to play slower than 5+5. But 5+5 is quite intense, and they just play 2 matches a week. So each stream would be, say, 2 games of 5+5 between 2 of the top players. And some of them I sometimes commentate on weaker people, and so you get players playing 10+10 or 9+9 because it's progressive. The stronger you are, the faster you play, and because it turns out stronger people like to play faster. So do check out the 5+5 and slower, and For the 11 plus 11, you'll get more commentary, you'll get more like in depth, but you'll also get me saying things which I later check with the engine, and what I saying wasn't true. That's life. But although it's not true, it's still hopefully interesting because it's showing some of the ideas which the players might have missed. But it's just more likely I make. One still makes mistakes, is what I'm trying to say. But there's still, yeah, and I try and say in the comments later if there was something. But yeah, really do check out those, because there we do commentary, and it's not just me. Often I do commentary with someone, you know, one of like the top 10 players in the world. So there's some interesting. Oh, he just distracted the defender. Yeah, and 5 plus 5, it's quite intense. Obviously, it's not the same as 30 plus 30, but the reason players don't want to play 30 plus 30 is because sometimes in Crazy House you're lost straight out of the opening, and people don't want to sit there for an hour, you know, trying to win a position that's already completely lost. If it's just 10, 15 minutes, that's, you know, 5 plus 5, that's okay. People can do that, but they just don't want to sit there for like a whole hour trying to, you know, it would just be too depressing. And Mugwort Crazy House says, with some exceptions. So yeah, Mugwort wouldn't mind some slower games, but basically you're the only one. but 5 plus 5 is quite. I mean, it does give an opportunity for quite good reflections. Well, so the story of this game is obviously going to be the dark squares. I mean, look at all white's pawns. From the colour of the pawns, you know that white is going to be attacking along these dark squares, and yeah. Black was just in a complete bind that game, just couldn't get out. Normally you don't resign in Crazy House, but I think he's got a lot of respect for Jasugi99. He just didn't want to suffer any longer. But normally, yeah, almost any position can be recovered from, because Crazy House can turn so quickly. Yeah, and for anyone who's new to Crazy House, Mugwort Crazy House in the chat was in fact the winner. Ooh, knight takes queen. Oh, let's check. Okay, was the winner of the 5 plus 5 tournament organised by someone on chess.com a year or so ago. So it was a Swiss tournament, just held on one day, 5 plus 5, 10 rounds, something like this. Okay, I'm not giving very much commentary. I should do some more commentary. And Mugwort says slower games would be really fun in ZH960. Oh yeah, so yeah, if anyone is new to the channel, to Crazy House, search on YouTube for Jan Lee 12 Team versus the World. Maybe if someone else is in chat, I'm just going to look it up. And that was a very interesting game because it was two players, two of the best players in the world, Jasugi99 12 Team and Jan Lee, and you can hear them talking to each other and discussing ideas. And they were up against a team of about 10 dozen or so players from the rest of the world who were also negotiating and discussing moves. And you can actually get recordings of both. The games are also in a Lichess study. I discuss them in my blog as well. But yeah, so but you can actually hear these two of the best players in the world talking to each other about the position. And that was played at a slower time control, something like 20 plus 20 or something. I don't like hanging the queen with check. That is such a counterintuitive thing to do. Okay, white has to be dead here, surely. So that's why pawns are more powerful in Crazy House than in normal chess, because the pawn just lands on the 7th rank and it's almost worth a piece in that scenario. So if you have a weakness, maybe I haven't actually thought about it like this, but yeah, it just occurred to me, if you have a weakness, that makes the pawn even more valuable, because the pawn can then exploit the weakness. So the value of the pawn depends on the position. If you have no weaknesses, pawns might not be so valuable. But if you have weaknesses in the position, then pawns might be more valuable. And I never actually thought about it like that. But it's just an interesting thought. An interesting way of thinking about it, anyway. Because what people usually say is that a piece is worth 2 pawns and a queen is worth 2 pieces. And that's the approximate value of pieces in Crazy House. But you can see in this kind of position, pawns are actually quite valuable for white, because black's got so many holes in his position that maybe pawns actually could be worth more. Okay. Trying to work out what's going on. He wants a knight. Okay, so why does he want a knight? It's not clear. Ouch. This is bad. Because the rook's coming in, it's going to take. I really don't know what's going on here. But black found some mate somehow. That was very confusing. I mean, black's position was a wreck all game, and yet somehow, yeah. Okay, knight takes bishop would be a bit awkward. So maybe this. Okay, he protects his bishop. You'll want to, if he gets a pawn, that would be quite nice. So look, he was thinking of sacking on e6, knight and bishop, 2 pawns for a piece. Yeah, so notice he doesn't hesitate sacking his piece for a pawn if it gives him initiative. He's really hoping to attack f7, that's why he did that. And notice this diagonal is just coming alive. Pawn here is coming. Ouch. Rook here, pawn here. As long as he's not getting mated. That's very powerful. Things of knight here, just king here is probably safe. Ooh, is there anything? Black looking for a mate. Can't see anything. Yeah. Black resigns. Also, by the way, another way of playing slower games is if a player like Mugwort or Janley organizes a simultaneous, and there will in fact be a simultaneous this Saturday or Sunday by gsvc. So if I put the date in the diary, something like 1700 UTC, so that would be about 1300 Eastern Time. See what the exact time. Saturday 1700. Yes. Yeah, that's Saturday 1700 to this week. Check out on Lichess, but it will start sharp at 1700. 1700 UTC, so it means if you want on the East Coast, that's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I think, yeah. There will be a simultaneous by gsvc, so that means gsvc will have about 40 minutes on the clock. Players will have, yeah, about 40 minutes on the clock, something like this. 40 minutes plus 20 seconds, something like that. So that's an opportunity to play slow Crazy House. And of course, the strong player doesn't need, doesn't need the time. So it gives you it gives everyone the benefit to think more about the game, while the players who don't really want to hang around and think about the game, they get to play lots of people at once. Okay, I should try and give more commentary about this series. So it's been a fun series, 21-10 to Jasugi99 against catask. Strangely passive setup from White in this game, playing what's sometimes called the wolf defense, what I used to call the Russian defense, as with the pawns just moved 1 square forward. Oh, catask just resigned because this was pinned and this was coming, but it seems premature to resign, but I guess he didn't like his position. Okay, so now we're into much more classical, e4, e5 territory, Scotch opening, which is very played a lot in Crazy House because it opens up the bishops quickly. Okay, what's the threat? It's, nasty threat, knight here, and he wants queen here. Of course the rook would still cover, but he wanted knight here, king here. Hang on, the bishop would still cover. So what does he want with this move? Oh, that's what he wants. Oh, very cunning. I just completely missed that one. So bishop takes knight gets you mated, so you don't take with the bishop. Hang on, let's just have a look at that last position. So there's a little trap there. Let's turn it around. So if you take the knight with the bishop, you get mated on d7, and if you move the king, you get mated by a queen on f7, by a queen here, if you move the king. Okay, so we have this opening again. Okay, so White's king is a little bit exposed, but notice Black only has 1 knight in hand, so and his pieces aren't very developed, so nothing to be scared of. So that was a quick resignation. I'm just trying to work out why did he resign so quickly again? There's a fatal weakness on f6, but yeah, the queen moves, another knight goes on f6. I think he played too aggressively. So yeah, KZ, who was in the chat earlier, if you're still around, yeah, absolutely. Even you might feel I'm not good enough to play. No, absolutely. Anyone, you'd be perfect as a board 7 in the Crazy House League right now, because the board 7s are players sometimes very inexperienced. So board 7 could, over the course of the season, gain 100 or 200 points rating. Or just players who, they're actually quite experienced, it's just they struggle to get their rating up. Just like in chess, sometimes you play a lot, but it's just hard to get better sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, you could easily participate in the league. There's if you were rated under about 1400 or 1300, then I'd say, yeah, maybe it would be a bit harsh because everyone in the league is reasonably good in that sense. If everyone is sort of 1400 plus, or pretty experienced if they're 1300. But yeah, he's going to get mated. And the great thing about participating in a team is you'll be watching your teammates. Your teammates might even be trying to train you up to do well. It just gives that extra motivation to do well because it's a competition. It's not just playing for fun. So yeah, it might not. So I don't know when season 7 will start. It might start in. It might not start for a few weeks or even a couple of months or something. But when it does start up again, you definitely do sign up. How will you know about it? That's the other thing. There's a Crazy House Team League team on Lichess, which I just set up. So maybe that's something worth checking out. Okay, again, I'm feeling like White's under some heavy pressure here. But he somehow got safe. How did this happen? This is a problem. Let's see if the king goes here, knight here was checkmate. So yeah, rook here. So pawn here, rook, those sorts of ideas. He's got 2, so you could get bishop here. There could be something tricky. Anyway, okay, black king seems to defend. He's going for this, but the knight defends. So he's doing for this, trying to distract the knight. In the meantime, he's doing that. He's just, yeah, the knight has to stay put. Queen takes rook, queen takes knight. Yeah, white's got this one. Just time. He does get it. Oof. So notice the knight is hitting the dark square. And so you need some other piece to hit the light squares. So that's why you drop a pawn on h3. They work together. That's a nice mate, king here, pawn here, mate. Okay, I've got to try and see what's happening in this opening. Because catask, a lot of these games are resigning very quickly. I'm trying to work out what is causing the trouble. Oh, he's offering a draw. replace, keep on cycling is a draw. No draw for catask. Interesting. Oh, yeah, really interesting how White has just sandwiched his king in the corner and put his rooks on the F and G files. And Black has just copied him. And now he's just pushing the G pawn, so much for king safety. No draw, yeah. They play for the people, says Phantom Troop. Oh, free knight. Yeah. This square was only a slight weakness, so he does a good job of just bringing back. Look, notice he's got 3 pieces defending this key square, which is a really important square. So actually, any entry is going to be here. Catask throws in the towel. Oh, stuff is getting serious now. 5 in a row. So notice the moment White did this move, this is a weakness. catask really tilting, isn't he? It just fish takes 1, resigns. Oh, I missed that. He's not in a good mood. He's catask. So it's been 1 win out of the last 11 games. So how's everyone doing in the chat? I think they're going to play on. I think he just needs a break. That's my feeling. No, it seems that catask is indeed taking given up. And Jasugi is saying, let's play gsvc. So he's just he's taken on all he needs is left, and then catask. gsvc is next in the firing line. Hi there, PKR 525. He said my ratings plummeted today. Then I beat a 2300 and a 2200 a couple of times. Now it's about where it started. Yeah, I think rating is really good if you're like aiming for a certain rating. Like if you're going for 2200 or something, okay, then you should like care about rating. But then apart from that, I would like freely berserk. Let your rating fall down to like 1850 or 1900. It's completely fine. It doesn't mean you're a worse player if you're rated 1900. And that's why we emphasize in the Crazy House League, they're not interested in rating. People have to choose that. People will still choose based on rating, because rating is a kind of sign of form, but it's not good. It's not really. I mean, you get people like CIW. The only thing is they're playing 1+0. I kind of feel that they should play slower, probably. Interesting move. Interesting move. So notice this is double protected. That's fine. But he's willing to give up the queen for a heavy. The heavy is so valuable to him for his attack that he's even willing to give up the queen for a heavy. I think that's a really important lesson. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Rook here? What? We didn't have a rook. For a second I was like, what? Yeah, the pace. I don't have any particular rating goals. I just feel like it's a good indicator of how I'm playing at the moment and a general indicator of progress. Yeah, but I wouldn't keep it like that always. Like, it was very yeah. It was very tempting to take on d2 and then get the other knight in here, but yeah, it's difficult because otherwise the bishop was also under fire. So I just feel like this game is being played with a lot more thought, a lot more consideration from both players, and it feels like a shame that it's 1+0 and not say 2+0. So there is the idea of bishop takes knight, and then knight takes pawn. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing the sort of the change in pace in this game. Feels like both players are playing with a lot more. It's not sort of just playing fast moves and trying to flag. It really is both players are playing with a lot more consideration of their moves. But when it comes to this final 10 seconds here, this means that I'm guessing 12-18 is going to be a big favourite. It could also be lag compensation happening, which I'm not aware of. But no, I don't think it is. You can see gsvc is just really, in these last 10 seconds, he's really falling behind. Even though positionally, well, he was doing quite nicely, but I just got mated. Yeah. There wasn't anything. Yeah, so what I'd say, PKR, is don't think of your rating as an ongoing indicator of your ability, because then when it's up, you'll feel, oh, I'm really good, and when it's down, you'll feel I'm not really bad, that kind of thing. I would say think of it more as a, I don't care about my rating, and then like once every so often, you can go through like a phase when you say, okay, I'm going to care about my rating, that kind of thing. Like if you want to play in the elite arena, for example, then that's the example of when you might want to see if you can get, how high you can go, but in particular get 2100 plus. To me, that's actually the biggest struggle, because 2100 is still hard in a way, I feel. This is interesting. So this is protected, and anyway, this f2 square is protected. I don't understand. He wants this, but I still don't understand. So white is quite safe. Oh, nice move. Yeah, nice move. I think the problem is time here. I mean, they should just play a slower time control. Okay, well, gsvc will warm up, I'm sure. Okay, bishop g6, bishop e4. No, so he's not going to abandon the light squares and switch to a dark square attack, which is actually quite sensible with this weakness on e3 to target. This one? No? Okay. So why is he doing this? I was thinking knight here, check. Now the knight's not exactly where you'd want it. So PKR says, I don't know, I like looking at rating in broad strokes. For instance, if you take your average monthly rating, like I was surprised to see I was 1930 4 months ago. Well, yeah. This is what's happening here. King here. White's looking if he has a counterattack, apparently not. Okay. he's happy to give up the queen. We've seen that. Knight here, no. Knight here, no. Just this, both knights protected. Also, 12-team is just too good, says PKR about this match, yes. Oof. Yeah, giving up your queen for a rook like that shouldn't be good, but he seems to be making it work. Like, again, this move doesn't really make so much sense. Yeah, the issue is this square. That's why he's guarding it carefully. Hang on a second. This could be awkward. He's just going for safety. I mean, black is busted, basically. Yeah, black is completely... I mean, not black. I meant white is completely busted here, and less time. So often an idea in this opening is the knight swings here, hitting g7. Not this game. Nice way of blocking. Ooh, rook here was an interesting thought. Because after king takes rook, there was knight here, check, knight takes queen. Not sure if it was good. It's just 2 pieces for the queen. It's just an idea. Rook here, check was maybe a threat if you took en passant. Knight takes bishop was a threat. Okay, why does he want a knight? So white's basically just looking for pieces to what a confusing position. Yeah, there's a danger. Okay. I'm not being very lucid this game. I'm not sure if I'm being lucid any of these games. I mean, white could have just blocked on h2, but okay. Well, I mean, that game was kind of hard to follow. If I say that to gsvc afterwards, he'll say, "Oh yeah, I was just as lost as you were." But I get that. Not sure what's going on at all. Okay, so interesting. What to do? This is the annoying thing. Maybe. Okay, yeah, defends the rook. That's a nice move. I'm worried about. Yeah, so black should be worried about f6, and white should be worried about c2 in this position. Sorry, the other knight's even more powerful because it wins the queen. Yeah, bishop d3, obvious move to defend. And that's really awkward. Because if you take with the bishop, we then get the sort of smother. It's not a smother, it's just a trade of pawns. After check here, we just slide away into the corner. So it's quite pretty what 12 teams done here. So it just occurred to me, I could have put this on the other side. So you guys can see some spectators. This is the end. Smothered mate. So we see Papa Preto, Queen Master, Blitzer, Grigori, Legion Destroyer, myself, Barry Boswick among the spectators. And who's among the chat? Let's see, we have PKR 5025, and earlier we had Mugwort Crazy House, Ominous, and KZ 1337. So yeah. So white going for an attack on the dark squares. So putting the king on a light square would make sense, but that's not what he does. Slightly scary. It's like, what has he done? Because pawn takes rook is almost mating. Yeah. It's picking up the queen, and then there's no coming back from that. Going for scholar's mate. gsvc not going to fall for scholar's mate. Yeah, quite a nice move. Bishop h6. Not easy to dislodge that bishop. Like, how are you going to do it? You never want to put a piece on g7, so the knight there is just as a guard of g7. Yeah, nice move. Okay, can you do anything? One knight, one bishop. Hard. So Jasugi99 is in some really blistering form here. He's like, he won 10 out of 11, and now he's won 8 out of 9. 10 out of the last 11 with catask. He's won 8 out of the last 9 with gsvc. So the problem is this knight wants to come on e6. Quite hard to defend. So black gave up the rook to defend. So what I was expecting actually was a pawn drop on f7, but maybe it was difficult because the knight could be picked off, and then the pawn. Nasty move because he wants rook takes g7. If he doesn't get the queen, rook takes g7. I'll pause myself a second. Notice how he covers weaknesses. Covered. These two are weaknesses, so that's why GSVC is exploiting. But this is a big weakness for white. Big problem. Big problem. If ever black gets a chance. Oh wow. Oh wow, GSVC, what a mate. That was very pretty. So there's a subtle mate threat. Then that was also a mate threat. Discover, check, and mate, double check. So you can't block it. You could get pawn here, and then king would have to slide across. We didn't do that. Interestingly, he didn't do that. So what did he do instead? He developed, built up a big old pawn chain. Yeah, if white ever gets a, why did he do that though? Bishop here was so interesting. Oh, then bishop takes knight. Anyway. So of course he never can move this knight. Oh, oops. Can I just quickly have a look at this? Was it this game? Yeah, so in this position, I was thinking bishop at h7 is a cool idea. And of course you don't want to take this because you get a double check. You'd actually checkmate. So you have to go king h8. And then I was thinking bishop takes g6, but apparently that's not so good. Apparently the move is knight takes g7. Okay, so the threat is bishop takes knight, check, and then checkmate, that kind of thing. This sort of idea. Yeah, so bishop to h7 was definitely the move I was thinking in this position. Just straight away knight h to f6 is apparently also strong. And then bishop takes bishop at h7. But nothing forced, no forced mate. Anyway, back to the current game. Yeah. Okay, so how's everyone doing? We're watching two of the obviously top 10 Crazy House players battle it out in some 1+0 Crazy House. I'm in my probably 4th hour of streaming today, so if I'm a little jaded, that's the reason. So why? What's the idea? Oh, smart. If queen takes queen, knight takes pawn, check, and then takes the queen with check if the king goes here. And if the king doesn't, if the king goes here, sorry, rook here, checkmate. If the king goes up, knight takes queen check. What a beautiful combo. That was an interesting game as well. What else is an interesting game? Something I just closed. Rook at 8. Yeah, this was an interesting combo, which finished in a mate. Let's just have a quick look. So I thought White's king was in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, a little bit. So here's the combo. Move 29. Knight f7. You can't just go here or rook h6. So king g7, bishop h6, king g8, and rook at h8. So yeah, quite simple really. Knight, bishop, and rook working together to get a really nice mate. Was there any alternative? Yeah. So there are lots of mates, but that's the fastest mate. It's quite a nice one. Okay, so what's going to happen now? I'm not sure. So while we're waiting, actually, what I'm going to do is so I click contribute and I click on Crazy House and I input the fan. Apply. I have to manually input what each side had. And done. Let me set up the puzzle moves, and I can actually just give it the puzzle moves. So it's quite a simple little puzzle. Add an explanation for your puzzle here. It could say gsvc against Jasugi99. And publish, just doing it as a sample. And then once you've solved a puzzle, I can give it a tag. It's a diagonal knight and rook mate, so DNR. So I just wanted to just show that as an example. Okay, so is anything happening? Not clear. And the advantage of this is then all puzzles tagged DNR, you can train with these puzzles specifically, and then these puzzles will collect together. So I'm just going to look at my bookmarks and see what we have here. Well, here there were too many strong moves, so I'm just going to untag this one. This was a very nice combination that he found. Just queen takes, knight h6 takes, and then the move here is queen takes e8. Queen takes e8, and the point is if queen takes queen, you go knight f6. If you go king h8, we're losing, so here knight takes e8, king h8. There are going to be lots of ways of winning now. So this position is very nice. Wonder what theme would we say this is? So queen e8 could be played first, or knight at h6 first. They're both correct, so the only slight problem is there are multiple solutions. Knight h6, g takes h6, then queen takes e8, queen takes e8, knight takes f6. Okay, well, there are multiple solutions in a way. I feel that's the right puzzle to look at. So okay, we could contribute this as well to this puzzle setup. So again, we click on Crazy House, we load it in, we say that white has a knight. So there are two ways of doing it. You can either go queen takes rook first, and if queen takes queen, then knight at h6, g takes h6 forced, or rook g8, and knight takes f6. And yeah, that's so. There are two ways of setting it up. So let's set it up. So it's either queen takes rook, queen takes queen, knight here check, got to take it here, and then if I'm stepping up, we're just taking the queen. So I'm just going to go here and let myself get mated. Or the other accepted variation is to go knight at h6 first. Takes, queen takes rook, queen takes queen, knight takes pawn, king here, and then I'm just letting myself get mated. Of course, going up is better. And this is Jasugi99 against gsvc. So it's just showing you how to add these puzzles in. Publish. And so, like I say, it's a two-way process. What we do is we collect puzzles on Lichess. We can add them in to this chess variance.training, and then we can tag them up. So queen takes rook, so it deflects the defender. And let's do the mate. We tag them up, and then the best ones we can then put back on Lichess in special studies, which is what I've done for back rank mates and so on. So what are the themes of this puzzle? The first one is if after the original knight h6 he goes king to h8, there's still queen takes e8 apparently, and if you take it, oh yeah, of course. So that's why he really has to take this knight. So it's deflecting the defender, and then it's also like a fork. Deflect defender, fork. What's the other theme going on here? Yeah, you're deflecting this defender of this, you're deflecting this defender of this. It's all about deflect defender, in a way. Deflect defender, and it's fork because you want to pick capture queen with check. Capture queen with check, although that wasn't the end result. Okay, so I feel that's quite a nice little puzzle. So show explanation says Jasugi99 gsvc. Okay, cool. So again, if we click on fork, we can see the puzzles which have a fork theme in them. So like I said, we're going to take these puzzles, choose the best ones, and then put them back on Lichess in special studies for people to train. But yeah, probably people don't necessarily want to watch me doing this. It's less interesting. They want to watch Jasugi99 play. So I might end this stream.